Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Judgement Day with me, Marc Cairney, here on the Bhoycie Bus. It's the time of the week where we get to answer questions put in by yourself in the community page. There's a wee bit of trouble, some folk try to find where to ask the questions. Just comment anywhere you can, and Bhoycie will pick it up or just put it on the community page and we'll find our way of answering your questions as much as possible. Ask us anything you want. That's what I'm here for, to give you an answer to all the questions out there. First question up is Paul Dyatt again. Paul, I think you've had 3 questions up already, mate. So you're actually got a hat trick now. So thanks for the question, buddy. How much importance do you put in on winning the League Cup final to stem any talk of a Beale revolution? Now, Paul, I look at it both ways. It's a good question, actually. I look at it both ways because it's going to be a marker for either team who wins this trophy. There's no draws here. There's going to be a winner. If Celtic win it, I think it puts a marker down for Rangers to try and catch up with us. They know they're behind us. They've got a weaker squad than us. They've got a smaller budget. I think they're probably at least 2 transfer windows behind us. But see if they manage to pull a result out the bag, it gives them confidence for next season. It gives them a starting place for next season. And especially when you think, the mood music just now around Ibrox is confident. That always happens anytime there's a revolution at Ibrox. There's always been a Dutch revolution, French revolution. Alec McLeish came in with promises of success that started off really well and just died out with a whimper. So for me, the importance is on Celtic, what Celtic do. I think Celtic are always the benchmark in this country. We're always the ones that set standards, and everybody else has to come up to that level or fall by the wayside. Now, the team that lost against Rangers last April, that I think it's a better team. I think it's a better squad. I think the team's on a second season. The evolution of this squad is building up. It's getting faster, slicker. I think the subs bench is looking better. Not only that, I think Rangers were on the crest of a wave last season. They just qualified for the semi-final, I think it was, of the Europa League, or maybe even the final. They'd just been extra time midweek, and instead of being leggy and lacklustre or coming down to earth, far from it, they were a fitter team in the second half and in extra time. I can't see that happening again. I think if Celtic lose this match, it'll be a very off day. But the importance of this game is astronomical for Celtic. I know there's people in the chat, including Bhoycie, who look at the League Cup and rank it 4th, and I understand that. I totally understand some folk see it as the trophy that if you're going to give up one to boost your chances in the other, then it would be a League Cup. I do get it. For me, I like trophies. I love that moment at Hampden when you're seeing Celtic lift trophy after trophy. It's what we're built on. We're built on success. I remember back to the 90s when we won absolutely nothing. I mean, I was almost a teenager before I seen Celtic win anything. You know what I mean? The 95 Scottish Cup, I think it was. And I never take anything for granted when it comes to Celtic. That's probably why I'm so paranoid about Celtic downsizing, downgrading, regressing. And it's probably been through watching Celtic for all the years, no capitalising on their success. I don't see that happening just now. I know I've gone on about Peter Lawwell and his impact on the club. It's not happened so far. So we've got to put a stamp on this game. We've got to play the Celtic way. We've got to show them who the champions are in this country. And it's not just a League Cup final or a league trophy it's up for grabs. There's a big market to be laid here. Whoever wins that match is going to get the bragging rights for a couple of days, but it's going to be longer term confidence grown from that win. I think Celtic winning that match would totally dent the Beale Revolution's game plan and send him back 3 or 4 steps. And I'm all for that. That was a good question, Paul. I need to put you on the shelf now because you're getting too good at these questions. Next up, I think we have it's a Holy Goalie. Welcome back, Holy Goalie. Should Celtic be looking at plans to expand the stadium to a higher capacity? I don't think so, mate. I think there's too many empty seats at Celtic Park as it is. I think the general look of Celtic Park is very, very uneven when you see it from sky level. You know what I mean? Looking down on it and see the sky cameras or whatever looking down on it. It looks weird, but the actual stadium itself, it suits the shape it's in. You know, you've got the main stand. It's got a lot of architecture it goes back a long time, and you get the three big great stands behind it. It looks fine aesthetically. Aesthetically, it's pleasing to the eye. It doesn't need that kind of upgrade just yet. I think if Celtic were going to look at anything to maximise capacity, I would try and maximise the people that are going to the game. That can be done in two different ways. I think it can be done with pricing, but also can be done with a ticket exchange system. If a ticket exchange system happens in every country in the world, basically, that's got professional football, there should be, and Celtic are dragging their heels with this. They seem to be getting asked it quite a lot, and I don't know what it is with them. They just seem to know why to do it. Now, I've been to Celtic Park, and on the website, the stadium sold out, and it actually is because there can only be 4,000 or 5,000 match day tickets available, and you get 54,000 season ticket holders. 10, 15,000 of them don't show up habitually, especially Wednesday night. It's a big crowd, as far as I'm concerned, 40, 45,000 against Livingston. I don't think you get that in the Premier League with opposition at that level, so it shows you the stature of Celtic. But with a ticket exchange system, you could be selling your ticket back to the club in return for vouchers off your season ticket next season, or vouchers for the club shop. So the club won't lose money as such. They'd be selling old rope, but they could also sell your ticket to somebody at a reduced price or even full price, because a lot of people are seeing on Twitter that they're looking for tickets for home matches, and it's just aren't available. Now, I don't know of any business that would happily no sell tickets in the way Scottish football seems to do it. We see it all the time. We've got Easter Road, Fir Park, recent years. Tynecastle's been doing it for a while now. Aberdeen, they're cutting back allocations week after week when there's folk willing to buy tickets. Now, I don't know if it's like something within our culture where we're that petty with each other that we don't want to sell tickets to the opposition, but I think it just stems to our mindset in this country. There's many ways to increase the capacity of your stadium, but I don't think having an extra 10, 15,000 empty chairs midweek against Kilmarnock is a good idea. I think it just makes that deafening noise of silence more echoey, if that makes sense. We've got the Green Brigade trying their best in the corner. You've got people sitting their hands on most sides of the stadium, and it doesn't help when you've got sections of the stadium singing vile songs as well. It just doesn't look good for the club. But I don't know if having, I say, a big part of your stadium empty is a good look for the club. I mean, you look at Ibrox and they've maybe got 43, 44,000, and the place looks packed. But 43, 44,000 at Celtic Park is 1/3 empty. And that's actually the devilment of having a big, massive stadium, is when the smaller attended games, the place can look a bit bare. And I don't think even leveling the stadium off, the suggestion I would make if you wanted to level off is just turn the very top tier on the new main stand, if you're going to call it that, is just make it all corporate hospitality. Just make it, just seal it all off to the one level, and just make it hospitality. Sell it for thousands of pounds like they do in most leagues. That would give you a more round-shaped stadium, so it looked a bit better. Although I don't think it needs it, but to have an extra even 10,000 season tickets, I think they would sell. They would sell them, but I just think another batch of empty seats at Celtic Park isn't called for. I think the way ahead for me is absolutely a ticket exchange system. Thanks for the question, Holy Goalie. That was a good one, and it's one that will probably pop up again most pre-seasons. Next question is from Polymorphosis. From the current squad, other than those we know of, who do you see leaving in the summer? Well, I think there's got to be bids for a couple of our favourite players. I think Jota and Hatate. I mean, unless people in England in particular are closing their eyes and putting their fingers in their ears, they would be well aware of these guys' talents. I mean, UEFA the day posted videos of Hatate's long-range pass for a volley against Real Madrid. These things get noticed. Their performances in the Champions League individually were pretty good. So I'm expecting bids. I don't think the two of them are ready just yet as individuals or players to be leaving this summer. I really don't. But I'm expecting bids this season. For, like say, Hatate, I'd be expecting bids of up to 15 million. And Jota, the exact same. I think these guys are definitely got another level or two to go up. Celtic are going to have to cope with these bids. I think Ange mentioned it in today's press conference again, not to get too cosy and too familiar with the players, but they're just passing through. And to be quite honest with you, I've kind of settled down with that fact that that's what's going to happen. I can relate to most Celtic fans getting a bit anxious about losing your best players, but I've been watching Celtic for long enough to know that they all come and they all go. I think the most important man at the club just now is the manager. That's the biggest threat to us. But I would expect Biz for they two. I think Kyogo, I mean, he's touching 27. I remember when we signed him, maybe 27 now. I remember when we signed him, I thought, see the age we're buying him at, he just might be ready to settle down and think that this is enough for me. And that's my hope for Kyogo, because I think he's got another level to get to as well. The boy just looks electric. He's had a good while now without injury, without interruptions, and you can see the benefits. Ange spoke today about how his fitness has actually improved, and they've been watching his body, and he's been meeting all his markers. He's been getting all his targets, and he's been progressing beautifully, and that's what Celtic fans want to see. So I don't really see a bid for Kyogo coming in the summertime, but it's possible, because I think the guy's definitely making waves, and for me, he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet just now. So I'm going to be surprised. And in terms of players leaving in the summertime, I'd be more interested to know what's coming in, because there's a lot of fan favourites in that team just now. I mean, you can go through that right team and that full team, and it's full of fans' favourites. Every one of them. There's not many players in that squad that aren't really highly thought of by the Celtic support. And I just wonder what the team's going to look like in 12 months' time. I mean, I almost feel like when you watch a video or maybe 1-2 years ago, and you can pick off the players that have left, you go, he's away. I think we're going to see that more often now in a shorter time period at Celtic. I think you'll be finding guys like mainstays in the midfield, maybe even defenders who we don't want to name. Oh, I won't name him, Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's probably the most accomplished defender I've ever seen at Celtic. I didn't see Paul Elliott. I must admit, I was a bit young to be enjoying him, but even through Martin Neal's time with cracking players like Johan Mialbi, I thought Baldi was a different type of defender, but he just controlled that full box. He was a bit of a nuisance at times, but he was actually a good defender. But I never saw anybody in the Celtic shirt and defence just play with such authority before. He's a worry for players being targeted. What I think might go in Celtic's favour is the amount of loan spells he's had in England, and he's not being picked up. I think the English market might look at that and think, oh, he's a big fish in a small pond up there, and just kind of turn the page on him. That's what my hope is. The guy's phenomenal. The guy is unbelievable. I think he will boss it in any game Celtic play. And his full time at Celtic, I've seen him play maybe 1 or 2 bad games, and nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Except me. I don't think there's anybody in the EPL that when they want a good centre half, and he is certainly one of them. And that's a good question, Polymorphosis. And I think that's the end of episode 4 of Judgement Day here at the Bhoycie Bus. Listen, we've picked up a wee sponsorship by piesports.com. Just use promotion code BUS1888. That's BUS1888, and that gives you 12.5% off all your orders. The day doner meat pies, which I'm going to order tonight. I think Bhoycie's tried them. I said they're delicious. Steak pies are phenomenal, he said. So go onto that website. It helps promote the bus. It helps give us a wee bit of kudos as well that we're getting orders for these guys. And seemingly, for all the reviews I've heard, they're delicious. They're in football stadiums all over the country. So get on to piesports.com and promotion code BUS1888 for 12.5% off your orders. And have a nice weekend, guys. Mona Celtic.